Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be Caninana taking on BenBotBC, the BC standing for Battle Cruiser. And yeah, these are two incredibly good bots, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm very excited to cast them. You know, clicking on them, that their game isn't going to be too buggy or anything like that, as they're very polished for the most part as far as bots go, and have been pretty darn stable on these new maps. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, make sure to go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. And then subscribe if you're not already subscribed, as I put up daily videos here on the channel. If you do want to support daily casts here, consider becoming a YouTube member. It goes a long way. And yes, let's see where this one's going to go, as we have got Benbot going to be just going for that proxy bunker that it's so well known for. Caninana wants to have none of it, though, as it does send out a bunch of drones to attack that very interesting attack micro, but it does seem like they're not wasting any time. And then we do have double spines from Caninana in order to react to this. A drone is staying on that SCV, which is quite important. It does actually end up running away, though, so Benbot very well may be able to actually rebuild that bunker. And Overlord does see that SCV still chilling there, though. And the two spine crawlers are done, as Caninana takes these rushes very, very seriously. It does have a few lings on the way, a roach warren on the way, but for now, just not pulling any more workers or anything. As I say that, though, there is a big transfer. I think it is just a transfer, not a fight. No, it actually is a fight. These drones are going to be trying to kill this Marine, eating a bullet, and then going to be running on out of their lings are trying to help bring that down. But Caninana has lost a lot of mining time this game already, just trying to shut this rush down. It's got two spine crawlers, which is a huge, huge commitment. Two spine crawlers is the amount of resources needed to build a hatchery. I mean, two drones, 50 minerals, two spines, 100 minerals each. So, and hatcheries aren't even that expensive anymore in this game. So that is quite a big commitment. Caninana even goes for a third spine. It is not a bot to mess around, and it just likes to play these games out by just cleaning up the aggression that's coming its way and going from there. One of these spines is in range of this bunker, able to hit at that, as spines do have one extra range compared to those bunkers, so it can be tricky to get the spines in range of them, in range of the bunker, without being hit. But it is doable, as this bunker is getting worked on now by two spines. The SCV will not be able to out-repair this. And Caninana has indeed held this rush. It's even got a few roaches out now, getting on top of the Marines. Benbot actually trying to pursue that roach, but will not want to go into those spines, so it will send its units home. We do have a natural command center already done for Benbot. Mules being dropped by it too, as it's already in orbital. And then a third command center on the way. So the defense of that rush was successful, but very costly from Caninana. It's nothing new from the red Zerg. However, Benbot is seemingly better and better these days when it comes to capitalizing on those leads by, say, going for 3 orbitals or something, not a planetary at its natural, or third or fourth or something. So we'll see if we do actually get that or not, as there is Widow Mines being produced to add to this great wall of Benbot. Caninana, meanwhile, just getting up its third base, has got a long way to go to come back economically. Meanwhile, there's a fusion core on the way from Benbot. And yeah, all in all, just a very successful rush from the Terran. Sometimes it's better just to let your opponent overreact to things than to try and push them. And that's kind of what Benbot did, as we do have an eBay on the way now. So it looks like that third base probably will be a planetary, but still the fact that it's already done, that Benbot's at 42 workers compared to the 27 of Caninana is really nice. And honestly, I'm just very excited to see both of these bots and how the updates look in the future, how they perform, because we did just wrap up day number 5 of Pro Bots over on the Versus AI channel, and both Caninana and Benbot made it to the round of 8, which is very exciting, as I think they've both underperformed in the previous AI tournament. So this time it's kind of wide open as far as how far either of them go. And that, yeah, it's very, very exciting, as I think they've both got a lot of great potential as far as being like, I'll say like tier 2 bots. Like you got like, I mean, it's tough to say that because they're both very good. Like you've got like Caninana and -0 is like 1 and 2, and then not far behind it's like Benbot and Caninana. Did I say -0 and Eris for number 1? I hope so. Anyway, we do have a battle cruiser on the way for Benbot, which will definitely require a response from Caninana. For example, if the presence of the battle cruiser can just force out some spore crawlers from the Zerg, that's -3 drones and minus a lot of resources to allow Benbot to potentially catch up economically. Now, there is another command center building in the main base. One thing about Benbot is that it does build up very slowly, very methodically, and then will just float it over, basically, one base at a time. So eventually Caninana will catch up in the bases, as it's probably going to be 4th bases finishing up for them both around the same time. And so, yeah, that is one of the things about Benbot. It does get these very nice early game leads. However, over time, the leads can get shaved off the longer the game goes on. Now, Caninana does have up 54 workers, but that battle cruiser must have been seen, as we do get 3 spore crawlers building. Those overseers of Caninana are incredibly effective tools for observing, as they're super, super quick with that pneumatized carapace. You guys can see in the bottom there as the bots cycle through whatever they're selecting. Oh gosh, I gotta get off that. I was pressing escape, but you gotta press E to get off that. We do have a Yamato cannon killing off 1 of those overseers. We'll probably see a lot more die this game. And then the overseer is still just flying around, providing vision on everything. There is an infestation pit on the way from Caninana. Meanwhile, Benbot's saying auto turrets. Did we get an auto turret thrown down? We did get a couple thrown down, maybe trying to kill another overseer or a Zergling or something. Benbot's got its 4th on location now, building the 5th. But again, just one command center at a time. I would love to see Benbot get up another expo as soon as possible in this game, because it really is a bot that does sometimes get stuck around that 4th, 5th base mark. Meanwhile, Caninana is accidentally eating a few missile turret shots. Yamato cannon killing off yet another overseer. I guess we can probably set a... oh, we do actually have Benbot jumping on top of the production of Caninana now with these 2 battle cruisers trying to kill off the infestation pit. There is lots of queens present to transfuse that. One of these BCs takes some damage and tries to get out of there. Meanwhile, so does the other battle cruisers, so they will just end up parking in that bottom left corner. The overlords of Caninana do actually leave that corner, which was their safe spot until the battle cruisers show up. And that's actually really cool to see, because there's a lot of bots out there that would just not move those overlords, and they'd just keep if that was the rally spot for the overlords, they'd potentially just keep sending in more and more and more. But Caninana is a very advanced bot, did not do that, which is nice to see. It's still constantly keeping tabs on Benbot with these overseers. Some of these overseers are getting a little too far forward for their own good, running into anti-air. Now, these two BCs are sitting in the corner. Yamato Cannon kills off one of those Overseers. I do wonder if it would be a valid strategy against Caninana to potentially run it out of money by utilizing its... by just killing off all the Overseers. Another battlecruiser actually teleported on in. This one is going to die, as it did try and go for that infestation pit. But the queens and extra spores were already in position, so that did perish. We do have Benbot attempting to land a 5th base. This is sometimes why building bases on location can be nice. If it's, say, cleaned up ahead of time, then you can... well, if it's just being built on location a little earlier, it might not be blocked already. Hellion is just scouting out a little bit for Benbot. Meanwhile, we've got creep spreading for the Zerg, although it looks like the heads of some of those tumors have been cut off, maybe by the Hellions. It's triple battlecruiser production from Benbot, as the Raven does move forward to reveal these creep tumors, which is very nice. There has been 6 dead Overseers, 1 dead battlecruiser. There may be another dead battlecruiser here, as 2 more do teleport on in, going to use Yamato Cannon, but there's so many queens. In order to heal these up, these BCs do need to make a mad dash for the corner. Another one comes on in, however, the queens are already responding, which is really not great. We just heard another tag as yet another BC gets yeeted on into the base of Caninana. There's infestors out now, though, so these battlecruisers need to be extra careful. That Yamato Cannon actually hit the spore. This one may just die. There is Neural Parasite, but I guess that infestor doesn't quite have the energy. Neural is a 100 energy spell. These BCs, hopefully for their sake, just teleport on home as soon as they can. Looks like Benbot is planning on floating another base over there. Either that or it was trying to build one on location, which I guess it does sometimes do, which is actually good to see, as Caninana is starting to poke on in to Benbot's side of the map. Battlecruiser's still in the bottom left corner. There is a good chunk of bio out for Benbot. Pairing up with that Raven is really nice in order to push this creep back, and that's exactly what it's doing. We've got a 5-base Terran now going to be pushing in towards the Zerg. Meanwhile, the battlecruisers are jumping into the enemy base once more, or at least 1 or 2 of them is. Where's this going? Okay, this is not good. 3 BCs teleported on in. Now one of them gets neural parasited and is actually going to potentially be able to kill off all these other injured BCs. Looks like one teleports on out of there. The others are, I guess, well, these were the 3 that were teleported on in, so they will have to wait for their teleport to come off cooldown. But those infestors are such a good answer to these BCs. We do have tanks sieging up for Benbot. However, the pathing on the map does mean that these tanks actually get caught by Caninana. That is a really, really nice pick off there. The bio is still trying to do whatever it can, as Benbot does have that 6 base building on location, which is good to see. I do find it interesting that it's like, yeah, I'm going to float the 4th, 5th, but that 6 base, that's going up on location, and it's not building another command center in its main base, despite having the resources. This is a huge, huge bank of minerals for Benbot. This is a time that I would actually love to see it play like a little bit more like Ketrock and go for a bunch of extra orbital commands or something, or not even necessarily orbital commands, but to potentially go for 2 planetary fortresses at each base, because it's got the money. I would love to see that, as that would be more firepower. It would change the math for the engagements. We are seeing Benbot losing a few of these BCs, as some of them do get neuraled and teleported onto the Spore Crawler killing zones, which is really effective for Caninana. The Zerg bot is pressuring the 6th base. It is getting established as a planetary. Meanwhile, Benbot, it is building yet another command center on location. So maybe there's a distance or just a maximum amount of bases that Benbot will attempt to fly to. This Raven looks like it's pre-clearing this base to be expanded to. And if Benbot can secure that location, that would be really, really nice for it. The blue Terran does have battle cruisers working away on roaches. The infestors are the big threat to those, though. We do see a neural on 1 Viking. There's 9 infestors out, which is plenty. Ravens are revealing the roaches, which is a big deal. Bio's kind of just skirmishing out, as Caninana is making lots of lings and sending them forward. Benbot's just pumping out battle cruisers, still being heavily limited by its gas, which is just ridiculous because it's got such a high gas income, almost 1,600 gas a minute. And that is so much gas income for Benbot. Looks like the Terran cannot get enough gas as it's already building yet another refinery. I'm wondering if Benbot will start up this next base as soon as this one is finished. Let's see. As this one just finishes up, and there it is. So it is fairly linear as far as it does that. It definitely could have potentially gone for more of those expos. BCs are poking on in. There is a lot of queens and infestors to defend this, but presently that is the main anti-air. There isn't too many corruptors out, just 3 for Caninana, and those corruptors are heavily out upgraded, so really it is on the infestors to get the work done. And I mean, they are potentially going to kill some of these battle cruisers as neural parasites are grabbing some of these, as another one does get teleported into those killing zones. Benbot attempting to secure up this location, but the SCV gets killed off. Bio is skirmishing out on creep. Ling's just running in constantly for Caninana. Man, oh man, commentating these games is a challenge as there simply is so much going on at once. The battlecruiser death count is 11 though, which is really, really high. It's just kind of being evened out by other losses of Caninana, like 200 dead Zerglings is a very significant amount. Neural parasites on the infestor to counter them is a very nice touch from Yamato cannons on the infestor is a very nice touch to counter and free the battle cruisers that are getting neural parasited. It's not saving all of them, but it does increase the survivability of Benbot if it does have that sort of critical mass of battle cruisers, enough of them that they can watch out for each other. And Benbot, meanwhile, does have +3 armor done. It's getting out +3 ship weapons, so these BCs will absolutely destroy the Corruptors of Caninana that are just getting +1 Carapace. I mean, Corruptors are very good against BCs, don't get me wrong, but with no upgrades, they are not that good. We have this command center almost finished. Yeah, this is a situation we don't see Benbot reach too often as I mean, usually it does have a more difficult time against these top bots getting up like a 5th or a 6th. I'll turn that chat back on as I would have seen Benbot was jumping the enemy base there as these BCs came in and cleaned up Caninana's base. But yeah, we don't usually see Benbot reach 6, 7 bases, particularly trying to take the gold base in the middle of the map. Come on, don't build the turret, guy. Finish the command center. As these BCs are still doing work, we have Yamato cannons going down, killing the infestors before they can teleport the BCs out, as it does seem that Caninana actually grabs the battle cruisers, or some of them that are off cooldown. I'm not sure if it goes for the teleport right away, as that is something that could potentially need to change, as if Caninana, look at all these BCs just going to the safety corner. Those could be a lot of dead overlords. They are actually running away once more, which is good to see, but the BCs retreat to the safety corner. Meanwhile, Caninana is hitting a planetary. There is lots of SCVs to repair this, though. That SCV count is getting reduced as they are being targeted off, but maybe there's going to be enough to save this. Auto turrets being thrown down en masse is a lot of damage to help out. Bio helping out as well to kill off these roaches and to save the day, save the base. Those other BCs, oh no. Did those battle cruisers die or did they get out? They must have gotten out. Yeah, it looks like they were all successfully able to teleport out, which is nice to see for Benbot. Saving this base is oh so important. It's producing 4 SCVs at a time. It will want to resaturate up that base that lost quite a few. That is very important, as that's sometimes where the death spiral can start for the Terran when they run out of workers and just keep losing them at these bases. Now, Benbot is pushing out with its bio once again. Caninana is maintaining supply. However, these trades will be difficult with all of these BCs out. And some of them do have Yamato cannon. Looks like they're saving that to kill infestors, though. Benbot's moving forward. It has secured this base up. The Planetary and Raven are killing creep tumors. There is 10 battle cruisers out for Benbot. A nice upgrade lead. We do get a teleport, actually, on top of this Zerg base location. So Benbot teleports in Yamato cannons to kill the spores, but they actually die so quickly. Under that +3 attack, it's not needed. The hatchery just gets deleted. That is a big blow to the economy of Caninana. And the trades for Caninana are not good enough that it can just ignore the concern for that. We got some Corruptors chasing down battle cruisers. The Corruptors have +1 finish for flyers, but now we're just getting into +2 Carapace, which is such a long upgrade. As, yeah, Caninana, it's still doing what it can. Neural Parasite, but the Infestor gets scanned and Yamato'd. BenBot really has got it dialed when it comes to killing off those Infestors, which is very impressive considering the fact that it does still just have 2 orbital commands. BenBot is starting to eat through its bank, though, as time goes on. It once had 6,000 minerals. That's not the case anymore. Planetary is up to 52 kills as Caninana is trying to keep the pressure on its opponent. Lots of lings are being thrown away throughout these fights. BCs, meanwhile, are still causing problems. But Caninana hasn't been able to kill off any of the Terran's bases, which are something it really, really needs to do. And yeah, let's see here as we're getting another hatchery going up for Caninana, replacing one of the ones that was lost. The Zerg is somehow maintaining maxed out supply despite losing all these bases, but it's about to lose another as the battle cruisers go for yet another jump. And Caninana just doesn't seem to have the anti-air in order to deal with these BCs anymore. There's some Corruptors out. Queen's helping out. These BCs are off of teleport cooldown, so the Corruptors are going to be able to kill them. Neural to kill off that one. However, it was already finished. Yamatos are killing some of the Corruptors. Nice kiting on the Corruptors from Caninana to minimize the damage they take. And these BCs are very, very committed on in here, so maybe Caninana can potentially kill off a good chunk of BenBot's army. BenBot can afford to replace these. It's building 8 SCVs at a time, trying to resaturate this base, as it is definitely losing plenty. Meanwhile, the battle cruisers kind of have killed off all of their competition in this game. Caninana has killed 100 SCVs, lost 50 drones itself. The BCs actually try to path to the safety corner, but they fly over the spore killing zone in the process of doing so. That's really painful. Still, though, Caninana has now lost 2 of its critical bases. It's not trading that well, and BenBot does have this nice gold base still mining, bringing in lots of extra resources that Caninana will not have access to. Lings are killing, transferring SCVs between the bases. This is something that I do sometimes criticize from BenBot, how it seems to try and saturate one base from another when maybe it shouldn't. Because, for example, it's going to be sending SCVs back to this base in the future, despite sending them... Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, they're probably on battlecruiser repairing duty. I was wondering if it was sending them down over here. So, okay, that's not terrible, but still, we do have BenBot with these battlecruisers getting neural parasited. However, they are quickly freed thanks to the Raven and a Ghost dropping a snipe, and Caninana is just falling down on supply. It just took too much damage, some of it self-inflicted from that early game bunker rush. And yeah, I think Caninana may have met its maker here. It's going to need some phenomenal trades in order to come back in this game, but it does seem that when BenBot is in the late game where it's maxed out 200 supply, it's a very tough competitor with how it controls its army, with how good its upgrades are. It just struggles. The games we see BenBot losing most of the time are the ones where it has a difficult time getting up that 5th, 6th base economy. But this game, that was not a problem at all. Roaches are taking care of the ground army, but that air army still remains a problem. Yamato cannon scan, Ravens killing off some of these infestors before they can get their job done. One thing that I was curious, yes, I think this is something that Caninana will probably need to adjust, depending on if the bot author really wanted to snipe BenBot. I'm actually going to go for a little rewind here. I know I don't do that often in these game guys. Okay, a little bit more of a rewind. So BenBot comes on in here. Something that I think is very important to point out. Caninana does successfully pull off a neural parasite. And I think this is partially Caninana not getting some effectiveness done. These BCs are grabbed. Their teleport is off cooldown. Caninana kind of wants to play with them a little bit longer. Whereas that gives BenBot time in order to secure the kill to free the BC. Whereas, okay, maybe that one was teleporting. I don't know if it got canceled or not, but I think as soon as the neural connects, they need to start being teleported onto this killing zone, because previously BenBot didn't snipe the infestors as hard. Now it's doing that to an extreme degree, and so the Zerg bots and bot authors may need to adapt to that. That could be something that could maybe be programmed to be dynamic. Look at that, though. Another infestor goes for a play. It's not the death sentence it once was for BCs. You really have to give credit where credit is due. There was times where I'd just say, the Zergs got infestors, the battle cruisers are just going to die, but that's not the case anymore. It's an incredible solution by the author of BenBot in order to handle these infestors. The author has done a really good job. I honestly was skeptical of the trying to snipe the infestor play when he first programmed it, but it's shown to be very effective in practicality. I'm curious as to how the arms race would continue to develop if Caninana's bot author did focus on trying to counter this, but still, it is very cool to see. Now, roaches, corruptors are still poking and prodding. Caninana is maintaining at 160 supply. The concern is, though, it's just not trading well enough. More neural parasites going down. BenBot is not losing any bases. The BCs are just too much of a threat. We're not really seeing that 20-ish corruptor count either that is needed to deal with BCs. There's lots of infestors, maybe too many roaches, that kind of thing. And now Caninana just can't maintain supply. It's broke as a joke. This is quite a good map for BenBot, but the success really did come from just putting Caninana so far behind that it actually was able to get up to 6th, the 7th base without any repercussions, anything like that. And that really just set BenBot cruising. BC's coming on in. There is a neural parasite, but there's the scan. It's amazing how many scans BenBot drops, despite just having these 2 orbitals. It seems to just be at the perfect tempo to save as many BCs as it can. I mean, these infestors are coming in. Neural parasite's going down, but there's another scan that's ready. And this BC, will this one actually get teleported? Nope, its teleport is off cooldown. That's not something that the Zerg can really track in order to tell which BC they're grabbing, whether it's on cooldown or not. Caninana is trying to make a stand. The Queens are doing whatever work they can, forcing these BCs away. That one did get teleported onto the spores, so there will be another dead battle cruiser, as Caninana is trying to poke on in. It has cleaned out most of the SCVs at this base, so like there is a world where it can maybe kill off a planetary and start something coming back, but like I think a big problem for Caninana has been that BenBot has had this location, or the Lings, for example, have been just poking and prodding this location for so long, but it's just never, there just hasn't ever been an attack on in, so that's been dead supply. Not that Caninana is supply capped or anything like that. We're getting more BCs built. There's been 27 dead battle cruisers, which is no small amount this game. Caninana has lost a lot of roaches, a lot of queens, just a lot of everything, and has been unable to maintain these trades as effectively as it needs to. 41,000 lost to 51,000, and we know BenBot has got more resources than its opponent, as Caninana is starting to mine out all these bases. And then just the Lings. The Lings it's producing are not getting anything done at this point, as Caninana likes to build them. I'm not sure what it's trying to counter at this point with them, or just trying to whether it's just trying to transition or just build like a base amount of Lings, because they definitely should be abandoned at this point. We did have another teleport onto an enemy base. One of Caninana's last mining locations is getting taken down, and the Zerg is just not quite hitting that 200 supply mark that it needs. Some roaches are changing their target to this gold base down here, but there's Ravens, battle cruisers, and some of BenBot's 3-3 bio defending. The BCs are now eyeing up the main base as well, where that tech is. If that spire goes down, if that infestation pit goes down, it's definitely over. I mean, I think it's pretty clearly BenBot's game to lose at this point. But, we are actually going to see the BCs move on in. They do retreat, hunting some drones, some overseers. Yeah, this is a really good example, though, of how a bot author can gradually improve their bot over time. There was a time where I'd say, like, okay, BenBot maybe wins, like, 1 out of 5 games against Caninana. We do get some neurals, grabbing some more BCs, which is nice, and the BC's friends are actually scared. I wonder if that's because BenBot doesn't have scan energy. No, it does. It's just not saving its friends, so we do get some neural parasites as Caninana continues to try and fight back, killing off 2 more BCs. It's a nice little pick-off. But then the problem is it's just trading away a bunch of resources in Lings and Roaches as this goes on. So I think that may be where the issue is for Caninana. But still, the Zerg bot is fighting the good fight. We got Lings hanging around the planetaries, but it's just not going to happen. I wonder what the Swarm hosts are up to. They really should be trying to hit a base or something like that. Neural Parasite goes down, and Fester gets scanned and deleted, though. Corruptors are trying their luck. The Corruptors are still only on 1-2 upgrades, though, as Caninana just hasn't been able to get up the money for that. Queens are fighting BCs, but that's not a good fight either for them. And yeah, a very, very slow death for the Zerg, as it's just been fighting out. But BenBot's like, yeah, I got 10k in the bank. And that is darn good. Corruptors going to try and grab this PC, but it just teleports out. Very nicely done, as the repair is worth its weight in gold. Lots of kills on some of these battle cruisers. Caninana being unable to break a base. It never really got that snowball started against Benbot, which we sometimes see. And yeah, I think we're going to fast forward at this point. But yeah, it's been a 30-minute cast. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this one, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. And then subscribe if you're not already subscribed. As if you watched all the way to the end, you clearly like what you saw. If you do want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member. We don't really have a goal for that currently, but the support is appreciated from the community. And yeah, just big thanks to everyone that does do that. Benbot will go in for a glorious victory as battle cruisers fly on in, dropping Yamato cannons, killing infestors with their laser batteries, and that. Okay, another infestor tries its luck. Benbot is just too quick on the draw with the scans these days, though. Caninana really is a fighter, though. The fact that it hasn't actually... The fact that it like survives this long... GG.